Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. The next episode of Red Valkyrie is about to start. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Red Valkyrie. I am your host, Shae Zombie, and I am here with the insanely talented and incredibly personal Brian Christgau?
It's Christgau.
Christgau. Okay.
Yeah, jawohl. It's Christgau.
I like it.
This is it's okay.
German name.
Yeah, it means Christian province. It's
nice.
It's pretty. It's rather rare. The only other person I know that has that name is the record critic Robert Christgau.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know if there's any relation there. But you could call me whatever you like. I got Christgau, Christgau.
Oh goodness, I'm just gonna call you Chris.
You can do that too.
There we go. No, we'll stick with Brian. That's the easier way.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I am super excited because I've actually been paying attention to this campaign for a while, and I just haven't been able to get you on my schedule until today. And I'm so stoked because we are talking Six Gun Gorilla, the Big Gundown, and I'm so super stoked about this because it's just such a unique campaign. It's just so interesting. So I'm gonna kick it over to you. Let's hear your pitch about it.
Thank you. Okay. Well, first of all, sorry if I've been a bit of a diva and I've been difficult to we're working to work you into my schedule.
Don't even worry about it. Honestly, I got like 3 jobs. It's crazy.
Okay. All right. I just first things first before I go into the pitch, I just want to thank you for having me on and for being such a kind hostess.
Oh, absolutely. That makes me happy.
and also, what you've been doing for other indie creators, I salute you, madame.
Well, thank you very much.
You are most welcome. Okay, Six Gun Gorilla, the Big Gundown. That's the name of this campaign. This is the follow-up to the previous campaign, which was Six Gun Gorilla, Long Days of Vengeance. All right, Six Gun Gorilla. It is the story of a gorilla, as you might figure from the title. The story opens in the late mid 1800s. There is a great white hunter type. I say great white hunter, all with capital GWH, a Alan Quatermain type, because that was a type of guy back in the day that would go to Africa with an elephant gun looking to bag himself some big game. So he comes across a troop of mountainland gorillas, and he wipes them out. And while his native guides are hacking up the bodies with pangas, machetes, for bushmeat and for trophies, they turn over the body of a female and they discover a little baby gorilla still alive, clinging to its mother's breast. So the big white hunter type, Lord Wolsey, goes, oh man, I could get myself some bucks for this. And, it's going to be a prized specimen once he takes it back to England. However, when he's on his boat, when he's on the boat to England, he loses the gorilla in a card game to a certain Professor Wolsey. Now, Professor Wolsey isn't a real professor. The professor is in quotation marks.
Yeah.
Because the only thing he's a professor of is bullshit. He's a carnival barker type, right? And his little daughter Abigail is with him, a little 6-year-old girl. She sees the little baby gorilla cowering in its cage. So, of course, she falls in love with them and goes over and tugs on her daddy's coat and says, Daddy, can I have him? And he can't say no to his little girl. So he cheats a coat. Yeah, who could? Right? And so he wins the gorilla, of course, by cheating cards.
Right.
And takes him to America with his daughter and starts Professor Malloy's Circus of Frontier Wonders. And the gorilla turns out to be smarter than he expected. And so the gorilla isn't raised as like an animal that's kept in a cage. He's raised as a member of the family. He is raised as Abigail's little brother.
Oh my gosh, that's so adorable.
and so being that he's in the circus, that they're a circus family, well, you got to learn to trade, right? So Abigail becomes a trick rider, which is to say, the young ladies that would ride around on horses and not just, do like, amazing riding, but also, jump through burning hoops and that kind of a thing. Now, Kumba, that's the name of our 6-gun gorilla.
Okay.
He's not going to be much use on the higher wire act. If he jumps on a horse's back, he's going to snap it.
Yeah.
So they decide that what they're going to do is they are going to sorry about that.
You're fine.
Okay. Let me turn the sucker off. Anyway, so what happens is they decide, oh, well, let's make him the trick shot artist, right? Mm-hmm. So he, being that he's a gorilla, he has gigantic hands. I don't know if I've ever seen a silverback's hands, but they're enormous, right?
Yeah, they're terrifying.
Yeah. Very physically intimidating. That's the point. They're actually very peaceful herbivores, but they're just well, there's actually not a single recorded case of a gorilla killing a human being, interestingly enough. Really? All the fangs and the muscles and everything. They just do like usually a threat display. And it tends to work because they are incredibly powerful animals. So they craft gigantic handguns for him that are the size of miniature howitzer cannons. And so his trick shooting act doesn't consist just of like blasting plates out of the air. They've got like catapults launching beer kegs and he's blasting them to splinters. It's like a whole thing. And he becomes the star attraction. Okay. So his father and he and his sister want to tour the rest of the country. They want to see what the big city looks like. They want to go to New York, right? Right. Where all the buildings are close together and they've never seen anything like it. Of course, Abigail, she's a young lady. She wants to go shopping there. Right. And experience something besides what they've been experiencing, which is nothing but small towns. Right. And that makes sense. So they've been in Texas. And because despite what you've seen in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the Civil War was never fought in Texas. It was never fought anywhere near the South. So that was fought mostly in the Northeast. So they're like, their father's like, okay, look, we're staying the hell away from that drama. And we're just going to stay down here in Texas and we're just going to tour down here and stay safe. Because, even if you're not involved in a war, wars have funny ways of killing people that aren't involved in them. However, the war comes to them in the form of a German-Italian immigrant by the name of Giuliano Schmidt, who is a Union spy. And he has some very, very special information that is that really could change the course of the Civil War. Okay. And he's being pursued by a cutthroat scalp hunter by the name of Gravesend and his men, his gang, who are like the nastiest bunch of knife-throwing killers you've ever set eyes on. And they wound him in a battle, and he stows himself on the circus caravan's supply wagon. And so they find him, they nurse him back to health. He's very handsome and dashing. So of course, Abigail, is crushing on him and he's crushing on Abigail a little bit, but he also realizes that, he's putting all these people's lives in danger. He needs to get the hell out of there. So he takes off. But Gravesend and his men follow his trail to the circus, and they find evidence that they've been taking care of him, and they don't know what kind of information he's shared. And so they do something really, really terrible, and he ends up losing his second family, his human family.
That's messed up.
And in a really horrific way, where he can't do anything about it. He has to just stand there and watch.
Oh,
And so the big top is burned to the ground, and he, digs his guns out of the ashes, dusts them off, and sets off on the vengeance trail. And while he's on the vengeance trail, that takes him in some very interesting, unexpected directions
mhm.
and leads him to a plot that could change the course of the Civil War itself. So that's the long version.
Wow.
The elevator pitch is a very big ape with very big guns blowing very big holes in very
Very
bad
bad
people.
people. I need that on a t-shirt, the way that you have that laid out. Like the back
Good
of the
idea.
t-shirt needs to just say that, and then in the front you just need to have like this cover. Just that cover. No explanation. That would be freaking brilliant.
I have been toying with ideas of t-shirts, so I will definitely keep that in mind.
I,
I'm going to add some interesting perks for sure.
we'll definitely talk. Like I've said to many other people, merch is my thing. I love designing merch. So this looks really beautiful, and you have some really
Thank you.
cool artists that are on for some of your cover art. So
Do I ever?
this is stunning. I love the sunset and how it does the rim lighting on all of his fur and everything. It just really highlights it.
That the colors on that piece, which is by Wes Huffer, are by Derek Dow. He did the colors for all of the for the first 3 issues, and Derek is an amazing colorist. He really, I hope, is going to get some work from my fellow CGers and my fellow indie comics people, because I'm sorry, but look at that. That's freaking gorgeous.
Yeah,
he does. He's like you know what he does? How my friend Wes found him. He does Western paintings.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he does paintings of Western movie hero icons. Clint Eastwood, Jimmy Stewart, and John Wayne, and that sort of a thing. So he does a lot of like sunset shots of like Monument Valley.
I mean, it's just so perfect though. Like when you go and you think of like a spaghetti western and everything, that's what really comes to mind. Is you always have them walking off into the sunset, or you've got the final scene of some big epic battle. It always started at like high noon, because that's when every battle starts, and they always go until sunset.
Right.
And it's so perfect. Like, and I love capitalizing on the fact that this is an ape. And if you look really closely, and I almost missed this, if you look really closely, one of those hands that's holding a 6-gun is actually his foot.
Yes.
Because he's got a hand that's up on the little post behind him. He's got a hand holding the gun. He's got a foot holding a gun, because he's a fucking gorilla and they can do that.
Yep. Yeah, he does actually use his feet for some interesting things in some of the upcoming issues in particular.
Well, and it's just so cool to see somebody who takes the time to focus on that, and that's what we're trying to highlight.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, I've been just incredibly lucky to be working with these wonderful artists, because I'm not very good at selling myself, but it's been easy selling this book because I could just sell the artists. I could be like, well, the writer kind of sucks, but look at that art.
Right.
So, but yeah, I've been lucky with the artists. I've also been really exceptionally blessed when it comes to the reaction that I've gotten to the book. The reviews from the critics have been just really, really generous, and everybody who reads it really seems to not just like it, but love it. And that's not me boasting. That's me being really, really grateful. Because, this is a passion project, just like all indie comics, most comics, most CG projects, are passion projects. We're doing the comic books that we want to read.
Right.
The problem with that is you don't know if other people are going to want to read them. You don't know if other people are going to connect with your story, or if they're going to feel as passionate about your story as you do. And I've been very, very lucky, because people really love the book. So, you know, that's I couldn't be happier with the response. People love it.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's a really interesting premise. It's really heartbreaking, but I mean, that's kind of the story of a Western, like the whole idea behind country songs and how every country song something dies or somebody leaves you or something horrible happens. Like that's what happens in every spaghetti Western.
It's a revenge Western. It's a revenge Western. And it's I think the most gratifying things that I've been hearing from people is people saying, Ethan said this, Mandy said this, Clint Stoker, you know, at Sweetcast said this. He actually said that it's the best written crowdfunded comic that he's read. So thank you, Clint. Thank you, Clint.
I'm excited to read for sure. That's actually something I've noticed with some crowdfunding comics that I've gotten. I really like the people that have created them. I like a lot of the artwork. I like the concept, but I feel like some of the stories feel like they're overly rushed, or right when you get to the part where you're like, yes, this is just getting good, it ends. And
well,
now
yeah,
it's like, well, I got to wait another year and change for the next one. And I feel like I just started this journey.
Well, that's, you know, part of me is kicking myself in the ass because I didn't release the first 6 issues one at a time, right? Which is the way it's generally done with crowdfunding.
Right.
I rather, well, you know, I couldn't even just take the first 5 issues and put them into a trade paperback. I had to take the first 6 issues because I was like, you know what? I really want to give people their money's worth, and I also really want to get them invested with the story.
Right.
And it seems to have worked.
I mean, I know that when I saw that I could get the first 6 plus this one, that is where I backed, because I was like, that's what I want to see. Is I want to be able to read all of these comics like as you intended them, as they were unfolding. But I love the fact that I don't have to wait a year in between each one, that I can sit and read all of them now, which is just so exciting for me.
That's I'm so happy to hear that. And you know, well, because you look at the traditional comic industry, how long do you have to wait? With, you know, a month,
yeah,
right? With a bi-monthly, yeah, and that's grueling, right?
Yes.
And now with the crowdfunding model, it's like, what? I have to wait a year?
Yeah.
But you know, like the next issue coming up, that's going to be number 8. That's going to be by Preston. Preston works fast.
Preston does work fast. Preston also does very phenomenal work, so that's exciting.
Oh, well, that's first and foremost, you know, because my attitude is always, you know what, I'll wait. I'd rather have it good than quick.
Let's not boost his ego too much. He's already got plenty of that.
Hey, Preston's got mad crazy skills. I'm not gonna lie.
He knows I love him.
Seriously, when he agreed that to do issue 8, I was just like 8 miles high. I was just like,
I'm sure.
You know, because, you know, Preston's an awesome guy. I consider him a friend and everything. But, you know, then there's like Preston the dude, and then there's Preston the artist.
Yes.
Right?
Preston the dude is who shows up to my streams with Chris.
Yeah.
That's when I have to look at things and go, how long till I'm struck? Because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be soon.
But Preston the artist, I'm like, damn, I'm gonna be working with that guy.
Right. Understood. And Preston, did we mention he was super humble? Preston is so humble.
He is.
No tongue in cheek whatsoever.
In those canvases, damn.
That you can't argue that. Fine, Preston. I guess you're really good with canvas, and I'm not highlighting your last little comment.
It's insane. It's insane. And so everybody, please back this project so I can give Preston my money.
Right. And then we can all help give Preston our money.
Yes, exactly. Yep. You know, Please go ahead.
I was going to say, so this is another cover that I really wanted to talk about because it's so, what I was saying to you backstage is that I love it because it looks so much like those old school, like Clint Eastwood video covers.
It does.
Where like you'd go to like get a movie poster or something like that. This would be what it would be. And it's so detailed. It's insane.
This is by a young man named Chadwick Haverland. Can you guess? I always do this with people. Can you guess what medium he's working in there?
I want to say, like, if it were me, I would say it's between charcoal and white pencil, but
number 2 pencil.
You're out of your damn mind. Wow.
How the hell? What?
Nope.
It's I mean, it's photorealistic detail.
It is. It really is. And it's gorgeous.
And I love the expression that he put on Kumba's face because it captures the mood of the character.
Oh, yeah.
Which is that he's not raging. He's not like, Urgh! He's like, what I'm doing is wrong, but I'm going to do it anyway.
It's very, I think a good way to put it is he's pissed. He's heartbroken.
Yeah.
He's kind of just hit this point where he was like, you have driven me past what my normal point would be. You have put me in a position where the only possible response that I have to you is that I'm going to watch you die a slow, horrible, suffering death, just like the people like you did to my human family, the people before did to my gorilla family. Like, I'm done. I'm tired of watching death around me. And if it's someone's going to die, it's going to be the people that deserve it, not the sweet innocents that have done nothing. Like, he's got all of that within those eyes.
Yes.
He just looks fed up and exhausted and heartbroken and done.
Yeah. Yeah. And
that's amazing.
Yeah. And that's the thing. The story's a lot. People always tell me like, it's a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be. And, I really believed in telling this story straight, because I always believe that these kinds of stories are more fun when you tell them straight.
Right.
If you're always winking at your reader, if you're, because part of me wanted to go Garth Ennis with this. Part of me was thinking of going Garth Ennis, right? Where he's just like ripping people's arms off and sticking them up their rear ends. And then I thought, you know what? Why would I do Garth Ennis when Garth Ennis can do Garth Ennis? Why don't I do me?
Yes. Because that's what you should do. Like, people trying to mimic other people. You have a story. There's a reason you're the one that thought of this, the reason that you wanted to bring this story to life. So tell your story. Don't try to be somebody else.
Right.
Be you.
Right. Because you're the only one that can do you.
Exactly. Nobody else is going to tell it the way that you do. Nobody else is going to think of the things that you think of, because that's inherently based on you, your previous experiences, what you find appealing, what your scars and your baggage are. Just like what Preston's sitting here saying, like, little mental scarring coming out. Yeah, a little bit. But
yeah. Well, the thing is, this is very much a story about revenge. And the thing is that revenge is something I have a very natural talent for.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of that.
I mean,
it's not a good thing.
I don't like seeking revenge, but
no.
I am somebody who pays attention to people that have wronged me. And if I find ways that I can maybe just push something in a certain direction, I'm not saying I'm not going to. I used to.
I used to. I'm a big believer nowadays in, the old Native American legend of the boy that says, like, I want to get revenge. Tells his grandfather, I want to get revenge on this guy. And he's like, oh, very simple. Wait by the river. And he waits by the river, and one day he sees his enemy floating by.
Yeah. It's karma. It's
that people that treated a certain way, they're going to treat other people that way. And one of these days they're going to treat the wrong person that way.
Exactly. And that's, I try to not have to be the
catalyst
for revenge, but some people push you to a point where you go, well, At what point is it revenge, and at what point is it just defending myself?
Well, yeah, and well, like with this story, it was a case of me thinking, what, and this is very much the dilemma of the character. He believes that what he's doing is wrong.
Right.
And if I were in his place, I would do the exact same thing that he's doing. And I
in a
would,
heartbeat.
In a heartbeat. And I would do it knowing that it was wrong.
Yep. Oh, I'm right there with you. And this is one of those things that I've always kind of said, I can take people screwing with me. And I feel like most of us feel that way. I can take people messing with me, making my life hard. When it starts to go to those that I care about, be them friends, family, whatever, when you start messing with the people that matter to me as a way to mess with me.
Yeah, that's when the beast is unleashed.
That is when Shae is no longer nice Shae. And it's very rare, and it takes a lot for that to happen. Yeah. But I think a lot of us have that in us because
we do.
I cherish and I value the people that I keep close.
Me too. Me too.
So anyone who messes with those people, heaven help you. I will come with my 6'1" ass and whatever heels I decided to wear and baseball bat that I got, and let's see which one of us wins, because I'm gonna have crazy on my side.
as James Brown said, I don't know karate, but I do know crazy.
Exactly. Oh, I got a family history of schizophrenia. I will tap into that shit so quick. No problem.
You win. I just have depression and anxiety.
Well, we got those too. We don't talk about them as much because those are a little bit more close to the family.
I hear you. I just real quick. I just want to mention. I actually co-run a depression bipolar support group, and so the reason I mention this is because whenever I mention this on a stream, almost always somebody kind of contacts me, like a DM, and it's just like, I think maybe I could use a little help, and I just steer them in the right direction. That's not me virtue signaling or anything.
No,
like it's a condition. Like these are treatable conditions, and don't suffer in silence. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly, and I think it's funny that you say that. I actually have an entire movement that I started. So I'm military, which a lot of people don't realize.
Oh,
I'm active duty Air Force, and I actually started. See, that's what everybody says. They're like, no, I'm like, no, for real. But I actually started basically a support group. This is total tangent, whatever. You guys are just going to deal with it. But I started what is essentially a support group for people within the military who have gone through just various life issues. So we've got people that have gone through alcoholism, abuse, sexual assault, various mental health problems, just being detached from your family, having like a civilian family that doesn't understand the military side of things, or having a military family that doesn't understand the fact that you have to deploy again, and your kids are going to be left alone again, and how a lot of people like that weighs on them. So we take people who've been there, done that, and have kind of come through it and learned along the way, and we pair them with people who are going through it for the first time.
That's awesome.
To try and help with that. So I 1,000% will also raise my hand. If anybody is ever struggling, you feel like you don't know who to turn to, you just need to blow off some steam or get a little bit of an outside perspective. I don't like talking about people's business to anyone else. I do take it very seriously, trying to help people going through stuff. I've talked several people on Twitter, oddly enough, I've talked people out of suicide. I've stayed up until 6 a.m. when I had to leave for work by 6:30 to make sure that somebody that I was concerned about was going to be okay. So if anybody out there is having a rough go, my DMs are open. They stay open. Feel free to hit me up. I'm more than happy to talk to you. Brian has said the same thing.
Same here.
Please don't think that you're alone, because you're really, really not.
So not alone.
No.
And don't think that when you're reaching out for help that you're placing a burden on people, because you know what? You're actually helping us out, because it gets our minds off of our shit.
Yeah. Yep. And on top of that, I'm an empath. So that's what I do. People seek me out, and I can tell when people are not doing well. And so I tend to reach out to people a little bit more.
That's my superpower. That's my superpower. I've discovered.
I was given that gift. That is like the one gift.
And it is a gift. And it is a gift. It is because
sometimes it feels like a curse, but it is definitely a gift. Because the amount of people that can't understand what someone else is going through, I found out just how rare people who can kind of step outside and go into your situation, even if they haven't been there. That's a really rare thing, and so it's definitely a gift.
And it is and it's not just a gift for others. It's a gift for you.
Oh yeah,
it sounds sappy. You want to help yourself, help others.
And it's true. It's actually given me a lot of insight and perspective.
Tons. Amen, sister.
Anyway,
that's right. Weren't we talking about a comic book?
That was our PSA. We did a mental health PSA in the middle of the show. We did. I am not going to apologize for it because, damn it, it's important.
It is.
But okay, I did want to talk about this too because this is a very different coloring style than some of the previous, but it's just so beautiful. Like this gun looks shiny.
Yeah.
It looks polished and pristine.
Adrian killed it. With this. This is a homage to a Mike Zeck Punisher poster from the 1980s. Because I kind of like that was sort of the image that I wanted, and I thought, well, shit, why don't I just actually send him the image and be like, do that, but with the gorilla with the Gatling gun. And so this is Adrian Sibar after Mike Zeck. And Adrian is he's a really remarkable talent. He lives in beautiful Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Ooh.
I would always say, like when we do conventions and that sort of thing, that he was like the sexy Antonio Banderas of the creative team.
Nice.
And but he's taken ladies, so you snooze, you lose. And the colors are great here because this issue takes place entirely at night. This is the latest issue, the 24-page issue, issue number 7, the Big Gundown that we're looking at, and it is called the Big Gundown for a very good reason. This issue has a very large body count. This is
I'm trying to capture that right here. It's a lot of people.
yeah. Because in issue 6, the really for quite a few issues, the heroes have been getting their asses handed to them by the bad guys.
Gotcha.
Of course, you always want to make the bad guys formidable.
Right.
And this is really where the heroes get a chance to strike back and really bring it to the villains. Nice. And yeah, I had a blast writing this issue, and Adrian had a lot of fun drawing it.
I bet. I like how, with it happening at night, I like how you captured that weird like dusk light that happens, especially, and it's so prevalent in the desert. I grew up in a desert state.
Yeah.
And granted, I grew up in the city of a desert state, but if you go out to, the salt flats of Salt Lake and you just kind of look around at night, it is weirdly bright.
Right.
Despite the fact that it is the middle of the night and it should be pitch black, because there's so much sand, there's so much light colors for that moonlight to bounce back off of. It is a weird, you feel like you're walking through a dreamland. So the fact that you guys did, this is happening at night, but we did these kind of bright blues and all of that to kind of show a little bit of that. I love it. I'm totally on board with it because that's what it feels like. It feels really ethereal. It doesn't feel.
That's all me. That's all me. Adrian had nothing to do with it. No, I'm just the writer. Okay. No, yeah. Adrian did an absolutely beautiful job with this, and knocked it out of the park. And it has that ethereal look. It has that dusk quality.
I love it. It's just gorgeous. And it really kind of gives you that feel of they've battled all night long into now they're starting to get close to dawn and everything. It's very, very cool.
Thank you. Yeah, he really killed it with this issue.
And I also love the fact that you got 6 a.m. Comics, who did a pretty badass little 6-gun gorilla for you that you decided everyone's getting stickers of now. Which
can we talk about Mr. Mark Marianelli for a moment?
I love Mark. Mark is badass. He's the reason I do hand turkeys. I blame him. If you don't like them, go blame Mark.
He's unbelievable. He's really, really, really spectacular.
He is phenomenal.
And he hasn't launched his campaign yet, which is going to be Starfetched. I don't know if you've seen the Apple game that he did.
I have. I keep yelling at him because it's not on Android. How dare he?
Or Steam. Put that damn thing on Steam. I want to freaking play it already.
I'm like, bruh, I don't have an iPhone. What the hell? And he was like, yeah, let me just work right on that, Shae. I was like, I'm not kidding. I expect it by the end of the year. Damn it.
I'm sorry. Can you just excuse me for a moment?
Absolutely.
Sorry about that.
Oh, snap. Oh, this is absolutely beautiful. In fact, you know what? While he is gone, I am going to go play his video because his video is awesome.
Brian Christgau, your book, 6-Gun Gorilla, is excellent. 6-Gun Gorilla, awesome. Awesome comic book.
We've all heard the stories. We've all heard the legends. Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, Billy the Kid. But there's a secret history to the Old West. One that seems too strange to be true, but, well, we all know what they say about the truth. Very big ape, very big guns, throwing very big holes, very bad people. I think the world is finally ready to hear the story of the strangest, the most startling Western hero of them all. Six-Gun Gorilla, long days of vengeance.
So cool.
Thank you.
Gosh, I had to. I was like, he's gone. I'm playing it.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry about that, but I got the delivery at the door since we're on lockdown. I had to get some victuals.
No problem at all. That is so cool. The way that you have like the video playing out and everything, it really kind of gives you that good background of everything that you're wanting to do in this book. And it's like, I didn't see that before I backed. I backed because I was like, it's a spaghetti Western. I'm an action chick all the way. Like action, horror, those are my two, right? So spaghetti Western, I'm down it. Spaghetti Western with a giant gorilla who carries 6-shooters. I'm more down than I was before. And then I scroll down and I was like, and he has a rail gun. I quit. I am backing this. I can't. So I didn't even watch the video. And then I watched the video and I'm like, oh, I made such a good choice. Oh, this is such a good backing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You're too kind. You're too kind. The fellow who did that is a friend of Adrian's, who also lives in beautiful Buenos Aires, beautiful Buenos Aires, Argentina. There we go. And it was an easy thing for me because to storyboard it, I didn't have to like do like my stick figures because I am a horrible artist. It's even my stick figure. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. I tried. That's why I write comics, because I can't draw them. Right.
Fair.
And so, usually when I send a script to my artist, I'll include I try to make I try to see give them as much information as they want, or sometimes even more. And, they don't have to stick to it, right? It's with the spirit that, take what you want, leave the rest. With this, it was very specific, so all I had to do was just cut and paste from the comic book and draw little arrows. Like, can you have this guy going that way? Can you maybe have the bird flying here? Can he maybe blink here? Maybe you can have his dark figure just sort of like appearing, and and all. Oh, and I'm kind of proud of this. I provided all of the music and sound effects and everything, and all of the gunshots are taken directly from Sergio Leone westerns.
Oh, that is awesome.
That kapaw, 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 and also from the not just the Dollars trilogy, but also Once Upon a Time in the West.
Nice.
And because I had to have that for me,
right? You're like, that's my little Easter egg.
yeah, absolutely. But also, it's in that spirit that, I want to, it's the passion project principle, which is to say, if you're not passionate about your project, how are you going to get other people passionate about it?
Right.
And if you are passionate and you're sincere, that passion and that sincerity, it's going to come off. It's people are going to detect it.
Absolutely. Absolutely, for sure.
We rocked Independence Alley in at the New York Comic Con 2015. We ran out of comics on the second day. We sold I think 350 comics. And part of that was the fact that we had like a great looking book, and we were all there and we were all signing, and we had this kick-ass banner by Wes. But I have to admit also, the other factor was that every other single comic in Independence Alley, we were the only, let me put it this way, we were the only comic that wasn't about zombies that year.
Wow.
Everybody else was doing zombies because they were like, ooh, zombies are in. Let's do it about zombies. And then they show up and they're like, oh God, everybody else was thinking the exact same thing. And we're here, we're doing a Western with a freaking gorilla.
You're like, oh, we're nothing even close to zombies. And people are like, oh good, I'm sick of zombies. There's 500 of them here. I want something else. You're like,
exactly.
Gorilla Western?
Exactly.
Maybe.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that we rocked it just because we had the best book, but we had the it may have been a factor that every other book was about zombies.
I'm gonna say this because you had the best book. That's what we're gonna say.
Okay, I'll take that.
Okay, so before we get over to any kind of questions from the audience, I want to go over your tiers because this is a really awesome project and I really want people to know how they can back you. So I'm going to kick it back over to you and we're going to go down through your tiers. Your first one is your featured.
Okay. Oh, the featured. Yes, that is the graphic novel and the Big Gundown for $45. The graphic novel, that is the same one that was offered in the previous campaign, which was called Six Gun Gorilla: Long Days of Vengeance. It's issues 1 through 6, but with a brand spanking new variant cover by Kanan White.
Nice.
Colors by the aforementioned Derek Dow.
Perfect.
And you can get that with the latest issue, which is issue number 7, which is called The Big Gundown. That's 24 pages. You can get that for $15, but if you buy them together, I knock I knock $5 off the price. So
this is what I got. This is the exact perk I got because I was like, yes, this is. I want all of them.
Thank you. And I do realize that that is like a little bit of a steep price, and I hated charging $30-$35 for the graphic novel. But remember, you're not just getting one comic; you're getting 6 comics, and in this case, you're getting 7 comics.
So all of the comics are they all 24 pages?
They're all 20. Yeah. Well, no, the first one I think is 22. but the rest
Okay.
are all 24 pages because I don't believe in any of that. I mean, comics, as we know, have been shrinking.
Right.
And I'm like, F that. And there's no ad space. So you're getting,
So you are getting, with just the graphic novel, 144 pages of story.
148 pages of story.
Oh, look at you, sneaky. So you got a lot of story going on.
Yes.
For $35, $40. Like that's not bad.
Well, it's $45 for because it would be if you bought them separately, it would be $50. But if you buy them together, I knock $5 off the price.
Right. So that's what I'm saying is like you've got a graphic novel that you're paying not much more than what you would pay for a 24-page book.
Yeah, it's this.
Oh, hold on. We got to make you big. Okay. Oh, it's so pretty.
And it's going to look nice on your bookshelf.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
And
that is sick.
And so you can see what the interior looks like.
Nice.
Colors really pop.
Oh, so pretty.
And yeah, you will thou shalt get your money's worth. If we didn't have certain douchebags and dingleberries out there like Preston Poulter, I would love to offer a money back guarantee. I really would, because I believe that strongly in this project.
Yeah.
And I believe that's strongly in this book because of the fact that because of the response that I've gotten.
Right. You've gotten really good reviews. So
yeah.
Why
so
you put your money where your mouth is, kind of thing.
Absolutely. So you're going to basically be getting this with a brand new cover by Kane and White.
Yeah.
And a floppy, right? This would be like this is what the floppies look like. This is issue number 2.
Nice.
Right? So you'd be getting this, but it's issue number 7, the Big Gundown.
That's awesome.
And the title of every issue and every chapter is taken from the title of a Italian Western from the 60s or the 70s.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, nice little Easter egg.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was for me too.
I appreciate that. I think that's exciting.
Well,
okay.
The way I got the idea for that was I saw that Rick Remender did this comic called Strange Girl.
Uh-huh.
Right? Which was kind of like Doctor Strange Girl, a little bit like Doctor Strange, but like its own thing, like a world invaded by demons and all that stuff. Yep. And the title of every trade paperback was the title of like either a Smiths or a Morrissey song.
Oh gosh.
And I was just like, well, if he can do that,
right, then I might as well try my hand at
and it works perfectly because like the issue that Preston's going to be illustrating is going to be called Cemetery Without Crosses.
Yeah, that's Preston.
And that's gonna have a very special meaning. Like you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. You're like when you see it, you're gonna be like, oh, that's the Cemetery Without Crosses.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's get back to your tiers. So now you got the Big Gundown for 15.
Yes, that's issue number 7. 24 pages. Like I said, this issue is all action, all mayhem. It's our best issue yet. And if you buy it with a trade paperback, I knock $5 off the price. But if you already have the previous trade paperback and you don't want to spend the money just to get the same exact book with the variant cover, this is the way to go. And I've had a lot of return customers, and that is the most gratifying thing of all. That the people who have been buying bought the previous trade paperback by itself have been buying this.
So I do have a question. Your estimated shipping says March 2020, which obviously is not. Oh no!
Oh, does it?
I'm trying to buy it. It does.
Oh, duh! I need to change that.
So when are you actually going to be looking at shipping?
Let's see, April, May. Oh, I should probably be able to ship probably early let's see, not next month clearly, but the month after that.
June.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or late May, early June or late May, because all the art is finished.
Fantastic.
Everything's finished. Everything. All I have to do is put in the order.
Okay.
But at the same time, let's put it this way: you're not going to be waiting half a year for this.
Yes.
This is no red. This is no Red Rooster. Sorry,
I have no words. No words for that.
Yeah. So at the most, and of course, with the with the plague and everything, mail is running a little low.
Yeah.
And I know that people that are in New Zealand, in some cases are still waiting for their books. They're in the mail. They're on their way. So I have proven with my previous campaign that I do fulfill. So you can buy with confidence.
Right. All right. So now we've got your digital deluxe.
Just added that today. Just added that today because obviously, eventually we are going to figure out a way around the exorbitant shipping costs for people that are in the far off reaches of the world. Like our peeps in New Zealand, Australia, Japan, Singapore, Finland. I love the fact that my book is shipping to these places. At the same time, of course, it costs them. I have to charge them for the shipping. I take a little bit of that hit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't want to charge $25 for the shipping. So I'm willing to take that hit because I'm like, okay, well, it's because it's important that we make ourselves accessible to the rest of the world. This is a way, if you just want to get the digital copy and that ships immediately, I will send that to you ASAP.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So for $20 you get, let's see, what's 148 plus 24? Let's see, math. Let's see, my left hemisphere is like the size of a raisin. Okay, thank you, madame. So you get 172 pages of comic for $20, and obviously shipping is non-existent.
Preston is showing us that he's very good at math because he said it was 6.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Super good at math.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's terrible.
6 Gun Gorilla graphic novel.
That's the graphic novel from the previous campaign. As I said, 148 pages with a brand spanking new variant cover by Kanan White.
Fantastic.
So yeah,
pretty straightforward tiers.
I tried to keep it simple, McDonald's menu style.
Yeah, which I mean, I personally appreciate, and I think a lot of other people do too, because it's nice to see. I like seeing it when it's nice and clean. Now, that doesn't mean I don't absolutely go bonkers for various types of swag and stuff, because anyone who's ever seen this show knows if you've got a patch, if you've got a pin, specifically if you've got a cast pin instead of a button, because I make buttons, I can make plenty of those. But if you have a cast pin, you've got a patch, or you've got a t-shirt, I am probably going to go broke buying that, because I love wearables. I'm working on a surprise for Sai when she gets back, and it'll be each of us have a bomber jacket that I've bought. Mine's red, hers is blue, because those are our show colors, and it'll have our logo on the back. But I'm taking all of these different indie comics that have patches or pins, and I'm just going to load it up. So we're going to have all of that stuff sewn on there. It's going to be really
that's
badass.
Wonderful. That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, I do intend on offering some swag. The first thing that I've added is that, and it's not like a tier or anything like that, but everybody is going to get one of those stickers from Mr. Mark Marianelli. And because he's the man, and just once again, just to mention, he's going to be one of like the really great talents in Comicsgate, without a doubt. And he's got a whole posse ready to back him up and get him going.
Once
You know?
once he launches Starfetch, like he's not going to be ready for that. He's going to hit Starfetch and it's just going to be like a wave of instant, like, you are funded. What's up, dude?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I am too. And like we need to get on his ass to like get him to like launch that. Like
Oh,
maybe not immediately, but like sometime in the near future.
Before the end of the year.
Before the end of the year? Come
Yeah.
on, dude.
2020, it needs to happen.
At
We're
least.
throwing down, Mark. We already
Yeah,
committed
we
you.
are.
You're going to have to now.
Yep.
No,
We're gonna force your hand.
I've got 3 people that have had projects in the works for a really long time that I'm like, when is it launching? When is it launching? When is it launching?
Yep.
I've got so Mark is one.
Yeah.
Justin Dutton with Unstitched. Oh my gosh, he's so
too.
close to launching, and I was like, Justin, like I have to know. It is so good. And then Skits. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind if Skits doesn't launch soon. I can't take it.
I know.
I'm so excited.
And they've got this whole network. They got peeps. They got a posse, damn it.
They've done a really good job in getting those peeps, and they're making sure that when they launch, all 3 of them have made sure that by the time they launch, they're going to be like, we're going to launch and we're going to be done with the book. Like we're going to launch and we're going to be 80% done with the book or whatever. And they're ready because they want to make sure that they can deliver on time, that they can get to their backers as soon as possible. And I'm like, as much as I hate the fact that you've been teasing me for a year,
I know.
I will
tickling my ass with a feather. Stop it.
Right. Like, could you just please wine and dine me and then go and whatever, but like, let's get this show going.
Exactly. Oh God.
This is super exciting. So you've got 6 days left.
Mm-hmm.
You're at 8256 with 200 backers, which is super awesome.
It is.
Are you going to go into
Thank you, backers. No, F that. No, yeah, I am. Yeah.
I was like, don't you say F that. You go in demand so people can still find you.
Well, and here's the thing, too. I ended the previous campaign way too soon.
Yeah.
And so, and here's the thing. We all learn from our campaigns.
Absolutely.
And that's, this is, I can't tell you. I think I had maybe 2 or 3 first campaigns, if you know what I mean. Right? It's like some novelists, you'd be surprised how many like first novels they've written.
Yeah. They're like, oh, we're just going to pretend that one didn't happen. Kind of like the Hulk movie. We just pretend it never happened. Like, no, that wasn't a thing. I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. Well, it's like when Preston launched Doc Salem, and it wasn't going to it wasn't going to make it because he launched it at exactly the wrong moment, which was like when all that drama broke out, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't even a little bit about indie creators at that point. It was all about drama.
Yep. And
he set his goal too high. And I was pissed off at the CG community because I was like, all right, everybody, we need to rally around this guy. We got to get this going. And I felt like John Belushi, like in Animal House, when he gives that rousing speech. He's like, let's go. And like, nobody's following him.
Yeah.
Right. And, I just told him, like, just think of that as your pre-campaign. I was like, dude, you're going to feel like you got kicked in the gut. That's inevitable. It's going to hurt, but don't feel negative. It's going to work out. And sure enough, Doc Salem, people back Doc Salem. That book looks like fire.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so I actually just pulled it up because I wanted to see how he was doing. He still has 23 days left. He's 169 backers. And he's got 6,113 raised so far, which is good. And I'm happy.
It's not enough.
I mean, come on, it's Preston. Have you seen Preston shit? Like, come on. We had Preston on for Doc Salem. I was a female version of Doc Salem.
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I've been missing out. Missing out.
You're going to have to go. So go sub to Red Valkyrie if you haven't already. Go watch some of our back issues because I bring it. I try to bring it every time.
I feel ashamed that I haven't seen that. I really do. It's like I feel embarrassed.
You should see my Rockabilly road trips for him too.
No, you dressed up as Patches?
Mm-hmm. I sure did. In fact, I dressed up as Patches, and then Dan, made by Dan.
Yeah.
I asked him if he wanted to do one of the zombie creations of me, and he chose that artwork, that pinup to
Oh wow.
to all of a sudden be
that's
my
so
zombie
rad.
version.
Oh, that's so rad.
It's badass. I'm telling you. Like I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I painted myself green twice for
so
Preston.
cool. That is so cool. And you're what, 6'1"?
Yes, I'm gigantic.
Oh my god! So like, if anything, you should be the Valkyrie.
Yeah, we're working
Well, I mean,
on it.
you're like in the Air Force, so yeah. It's hello.
We're working on it. We're probably going to. There's a good chance that Shae Zombie is gonna change at some point because
Zombie Valkyrie.
something. I gotta say the Shae part. That's the thing I like.
Right,
but,
right. That's the important part.
But the thing that's funny is, because I was talking to Preston, I kept giving him shit because he does all of this leather work, and I was like, "Where are my leathers,
my
Preston?
God.
Where are my leathers?" And he was like, "Don't worry, I got you." I'm like, "Wait, for real? I was kidding." And he was like, "No, like we'll talk." I'm like, "Okay."
Preston's impressive.
Dude, I love Preston.
He really is, and it's
Preston, go away so we can talk about you like you're not here.
Yeah, seriously, brother. And there's going to be is it on my campaign page? I think it's on my campaign page.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not sure,
the crossover?
the crossover.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yes.
It sure is that your campaign
EPMD back in the 80s said no crossover. I'm saying yes crossover. It's going to be Doc Salem, Preston's Doc Salem,
Yep.
Lit Devils, Doc Alpha,
Yep.
and my 6-gun gorilla.
Absolutely.
And the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yep. 1000%. And honestly, all three of these are super awesome books. All three of them, I'm pretty sure I have backed. Yes, I did. I backed Doc Alpha. I had to make sure that I backed him. Because they're all they're fun. This is what books are supposed to be. They're supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be an escape.
Yes, and I'm hoping that this is going to be like a really great pulp adventure, like a Republic movie serial.
Yeah.
Like I'm hoping, I'm trying. Here's the thing: we've got 3 different minds here, right? So the initial idea that was Preston's, and he was like, "How about like each of us write a chapter, and then the next person steps in and picks up from where they left off, and then the next person from them steps in,
man.
right?" I'm of course I'm very anal retentive. I always like to have my ending before I start writing anything. So, this could end up being a hot mess. It could end up being awesome. It could end up being a disaster. I don't know. I'm trying to steer it in the direction of I want some Hollow Earth. I want some Hollow Earth in there. If you don't know about the Hollow Earth, that's like a thing. If you've ever seen the Phantom Empire, that's kind of, I know most people haven't, so I don't feel like I'm dropping any spoilers.
I'm not entirely sure. I know a couple variations, but I don't think that I know your reference.
Think Flash Gordon Underground.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. In the Old West. In the Old West.
At all.
Yeah.
Not in the least. That sounds super interesting.
That's why I feel comfortable just throwing that one out there.
Yeah.
But it's not a sure thing yet. We haven't agreed. So I'm just saying I have an agenda, and I'm making it clear just so those guys know. So if they're I don't have to play, and I don't have to use any subterfuge. And if they don't like that idea, they're like, dude, we're not going there.
Right.
You're outvoted. So, but it's going to be either way. It's going to be fun. It's going to that I guarantee. It's going to be fun.
There's no way that it couldn't be with this team together. All 3 of you are your own special brand of crazy. And so putting all 3 of you in the same virtual room to write something just I wish that I could just be a fly on the wall and just sit in the back and just be like, oh, I'm not adding anything to this. I'm just going to say we're popcorn and watch, because this is going to be hilarious. I can't wait to watch you guys be like, no, it's bullshit. We're not doing that. And be like, right. Someone pissed off Preston. Just
right. Right. Or you're outvoted.
Yeah, exactly. Literature devil being like, you know what? No, this is what I'm doing. Damn it. This is what we're writing. And just watch you being like, guys, everyone, let's just get along. I want to be there. I want to be there with popcorn and vodka.
It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool.
It's going to be epic. I'm super excited.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I think people are gonna get a kick out of it, and that's the thing. We're making comics fun again, and we're bringing heroes back too. You know, that's the thing that's been really tragic about contemporary comics is that the people writing them don't believe in heroes, and they think like villains, and so when they write a hero, they write them like villains because they're like, well, what would I do if I had superpowers? I know, I would use them to hurt people. And like that's something that your boy Zach said. He said if SJWs had superpowers, they would use them to hurt you. And I think that's if you look at the comics that they're producing, I think that's very much the case.
Mm-hmm.
And you in the 90s, you saw comic book heroes. They had ceased acting like heroes. That's what was the era of the trench coats and every character Liefeld. They all had a gun. They're always seething, and everybody had claws and guns and swords and shit. And God bless him, Grant Morrison. DC called him in and like, well, what are we going to do next? And he was like, very simple. You make your heroes again.
Yeah,
and that's why
it takes. Go figure.
Yeah, go figure.
I mean, we already live in the world of people suck and people are not. You can't take anyone at face value because everybody is putting on some kind of a show and all that. I already live in that world. So when I have a hero, can they just be a hero?
Yeah.
Like, can I just have a hero that is a ultimate just lawful good if you got it? Like, fine. Just make him good.
Yeah.
I'll even take chaotic good. Deadpool, I think, is fucking hilarious because he's insane and he will do an insane amount of damage, but it's for the greater good at the end.
Chaotic good would be Conan the Barbarian, Snake Plissken from Escape from New York. I love those characters, right? Because it's like Conan the Barbarian, there's a great moment, as I'm a big Robert E. Howard fan.
Okay.
There's a great moment in one of the stories where he's on a bridge and there's a floozy, and that's basically what she is in the story. Let's face it, right? She's like hanging from her fingertips, and there's a huge cask of treasure on the other side, and it's teetering.
Right.
And Conan does not even think about it. Boom! He goes to save the floozy.
Yep.
That's a hero.
That is.
That's a hero.
It's a hero that makes you go, oh, but all that money. You're like,
fuck it.
Yeah,
because
okay,
she
I
says
know.
it too. She's like, oh, you lost all that money. He's just like, fuck it. It's just money. Because at the end of a Conan story, he might be, he'll be riding around with like a massive treasure. At the beginning of the next story, he's crucified.
Yeah. So I mean, at this point, Conan's like, look,
yeah,
I know how this goes. I get treasure. It gets ripped from me somehow.
Exactly.
So I'll save the person.
Exactly.
The person can at least continue living.
and the person can't be replaced.
Exactly.
And the stuff is just stuff. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And I'm somebody that believes in heroes, and I believe that regular people could be heroes because you see it all the time. And in times of crisis, both of my parents grew up in Nazi Germany.
Oh wow!
And anybody that experienced that will tell you, you will see in times like that, you will see heroes turn into cowards.
Yep.
But you will also see cowards turn into heroes.
Yep. Oh, not to get sidetracked again. We're doing that a lot on this show. I don't even care. Sai's not here. She can't yell at me.
F it. Yeah.
So I've been to training in Germany a couple of times, and in our downtime I was able to do a walking tour of Munich, and one of my most favorite parts of that walking tour, there's memorials that are set up because for a lot of people they don't realize Germany didn't go and repair everything that happened during the war. There's shrapnel. Like what they did is they put plexiglass over things that had shrapnel damage as a constant reminder of what happens when you don't stand up against oppressive evil.
Absolutely.
And like they beat themselves over the head with it repeatedly about why you can never give in to an oppressive evil.
Absolutely. Radical evil. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. And there's this, I don't know if it's still a university, but at the time it was a university. And this university had kids that were just college-age kids that were standing out, handing out pamphlets and propaganda against Hitler.
Sophie Scholl and the White Rose.
And it was, I think it was Sophie and her brother were the two that were doing it.
And Christoph Probst, their friend. Yeah.
Yeah, yep, and their buddy. And so they were all standing out there and they were handing out all of these things. Well, they actually have, because they were killed for it.
Yep.
They Quick have too. A memorial to these students that were standing there, where they took basically plaster and they made it look like the pamphlets that they were handing out, and they embedded them into the walkway, and it looks like somebody threw a bunch of trash or a bunch of propaganda and it just landed. But then you get up close and they have like Sophie's biography or whatever, like a little bio bit about her with a picture and everything. And they have the same thing for her brother and the same thing for their friend. And it's scattered all around with little bits of this is what they were handing out. And it's one of the most gorgeous things that I think I've ever seen. Yeah. And also one of the most impactful, because you see how far that stretched, and you see just how many people were standing up at the age of 20 and saying, I'm not going to let this happen in my country. And
knowing that they were going to die.
Yep. Oh,
and we're like, and the reason why they did it, and they made it very clear, was because after all this shit is over, somebody has to say that somebody stood up.
Yep.
That not all Germans were down with this, that somebody resisted.
Somebody said this wasn't okay.
And what happened there was Hans basically put all the, he was a very neat thinker, very typical church man, right? He put all the flyers like on the balcony, right? Like right on the edge, so people could come by and take one. Right. And it was somebody who went, fuck that, and just pushed them. Yeah. And that's how they scattered everywhere.
It's a really cool installation that they have there, that is a permanent installation that is, as long as that square and that university exists, that installation will be there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Regular people can be heroes too. People run into burning buildings to save children.
Yeah, absolutely.
It happens. And
well, it makes me happy that that's something that you guys are kind of focusing on, is you're focusing on trying to bring back that kind of story, that kind of hero into a lot of these comics. Because I'm tired of being told that I'm brainwashed by the patriarchy. Damn it. I am an independent thinking woman, and I know what I like, and I don't like the crap you're pushing out that you keep telling me it's just because I'm brainwashed by the patriarchy and men have told me otherwise. I was like, that is the most sexist thing I've ever heard anyone say.
It is.
It's coming from people that are crying about sexism.
Yeah, and it's infantilizing you,
It's right. Like I am an adult. Thank you. I can make my own decisions.
Exactly. And you look at like how patronizing much SJW art is. And the thing is, SJW art doesn't even have to be bad. If you look at something like Steven Universe, I think that's excellent SJW art. It's not for me, right?
Yeah, I hate it.
Okay. No, I hate it too, but I can look at it and go, you know what? That's at least well made for what it is. Do you know what I'm saying?
What they're going for.
Not for me. So I understand. It's right. It's, in other words, it's like gay porn, right? I can be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's not for me, right? But it's if it's well made, it's well made, right?
Fair enough. You look
at, like the Marvel comics and the and the SJW comics, and they're horrible.
They really are. It's very upsetting.
Made. They're just like, it's so, you look at look, politics have been in comics since forever. Leftist comics have been in comics since forever, right? You look at Dennis O'Neil and Neil Adams when they had that magnificent run on Green Lantern, Green Arrow, right? And one of them was sort of conservative and one of them was a lefty, and they were always button heads.
Yeah.
but it was always about the storytelling, and it wasn't about lecturing you.
Right. And that's having something that has a political theme versus something that is telling you how to think or feel is very different. And so good storytelling is good storytelling. And getting onto good storytelling, Chris has a question. He wants to know, besides Six Gun Gorilla, what other types of stories are you looking to tell in comics?
Oh, dude, thanks, Chris. You just threw me a bone. I appreciate that. Oh, God, there are a lot. I have a bunch of projects I want to do. The next book I would love to do, I sent Preston like the script for it because I'm hoping he's going to read it and be like, I got to do this. I know he's busy with like a lot of other shit. So we're good, Preston. Don't worry about it. But the next book I want to do is called Tequila Moonrise, which is basically Mexican luchadors, Mexican wrestlers fighting monsters.
Oh, nice.
And that
sounds awesome.
Yeah, and it has kind of like a Big Trouble in Little China feel to it. And it's actually, I wrote it as a screenplay first. And because I've written, sometimes I write a story as a screenplay. Sometimes I'll write it as a short story or a novella. Sometimes I'll write it as a comic book. Six Gun, for instance, was written as a comic book. This is something that was written as a screenplay, but when I do it as a comic, I am going to rewrite it as a comic book. I'm not going to just go to the artist, hopefully Preston, and throw the script to him and be like, here, just make a comic out of that. No.
Make this a thing.
Make this a thing. No, not at all. It's inspired by the life of El Santo, who was a Mexican wrestler, the king, really, of the luchadors, who was a straight up good guy. His name was El Santo, which means the saint, and wore a white mask. And he was also a movie star. And the movies he made are unbelievable. You've never seen anything like it. They're Mexican horror wrestling movies is the best way to describe them, which is to say he'll play him in the movies. He plays himself, El Santo, the people's champion, and it opens up and he's in the ring and he's wrestling, right? And the wrestling is real and he wins. Yay, the people's champion. And then he'll put on his cape and then he'll like hop in a sports car and drive off to like a cemetery and fight a bunch of vampires. And right, and there'll be another scene, and he'll be making out with his girlfriend with the mask on, of course, because he never takes the mask off.
Right.
And a bunch of werewolves attack, and he kicks the asses of the werewolves. And then there's another wrestling match, and then there's a musical number. And like anybody, like I saw the first time I saw one of these, it was on late night TV. I was, drinking. I had a little a botanical refreshment. And the next morning I woke up and I wasn't sure if I'd seen it or if I dreamt it.
Nice.
And I started hunting these movies down and, I fell in love with them. I absolutely fell in love with them. And so in this, the wrestling is going to be fake. Which it's going to open up, like it opens up with a wrestling match and they're like talking with each other. Okay, how do you want to end this, et cetera, et cetera. Right. And you can see like the inside workings of what like goes on in a wrestling match, and and how like the referee is like is part choreographer and giving them directions, or you do this, that, right? And then he goes to fight the monsters, and the monsters are real. And
that sounds epic. That sounds perfect.
It's the best thing I've written. And I can't wait to turn that into a comic. I want to do, once again, Preston, if he could draw everything. I want to do a sword and sorcery story called Slayers. At least that's the current working title. Okay. And that's going to be basically a kind of like the Guns of Navarone, where you have like a group of warriors, a barbarian, a warrior priestess, a sorcerer, a thief, et cetera, all sent on a suicide mission to fight an encroaching evil, except it's going to be like sort of like Lord of the Rings, if Lord of the Rings had take place almost entirely in Moria and Mordor.
Okay.
So it's going to be like nonstop action. It's going to be
like almost like a dungeon crawler.
It's going to be like a dungeon crawler.
Gotcha.
And but it's also going to be inspired by the life, at least a little bit, the main characters based on Arminius. who was behind the massacre in the Black Forest, and it's I can't wait. I can't wait. So there are a bunch of genres I want to hop around in.
I love that you've got a lot of these ideas.
A horror book. I definitely want to do a horror thing. There's a werewolf book I want to do called Southpaw. That's going to be like I don't know if you've ever seen like the Burt Reynolds, like the early Burt Reynolds car crash movies, like White Lightning or Gator. It's going to be like that, but with like a werewolf fighting witches.
Oh my gosh.
In the 1970s, so they're all wearing like monks' cassocks and swinging axes and shit, or a Race with the Devil, something like that.
Yeah. I like it. So Preston has another question.
Oh, of course he does.
Yeah, I worry about Preston's questions. He wants to know, is the paper of the book made from the skin of your enemies?
No, it's not, but maybe we could figure that out. I don't
for the horror book.
Go for that. I'm sorry, what you say?
Maybe for the horror book.
Or bookmarks. I can maybe make bookmarks.
Gross. Oh, it's terrible.
Nasty.
Ugh.
Preston, you are nasty. You're a nasty boy.
That's true. He knows it. He's proud of it. That's okay.
Yeah, he is.
We love Preston.
We love Preston. Go back, Doc Salem, bitches.
Yeah, right. So, wow. Like we have been talking, and I feel like you and I could probably talk for the next 4 hours. Unfortunately,
I've enjoyed myself, and I'm
really happy you have. It's been so much fun having you on. So unless there are any last minute questions from the chat, I think I'm going to kick it over to you. Do you have any other little things that you wanted to kind of throw out there? Oh, we do have one more question. I Borrow Ideas wants to know, is Six Gun going to go in demand? I believe that I already gave you shit about this.
Yes, it will be going into demand.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that everybody who wants to get the book is going to be able to get the book. That is, and the thing is when I start the campaign for number 8, which is going to be illustrated by Mr. Preston Acevedo, the comics are always going to be available. It's just this. I'm always going to have like probably a new variant cover, so that when people are buying this particular version of the trade paperback, it's going to be the only version with that cover. But you're always going to be able to get the full story. I also wanted to mention real quick that there are some people that are like, you know what, rather than buy the trade paperback, the first trade paperback, and the Big Gundown, which is like issue number 7, I'm just going to wait for the next trade paperback. Please don't, because if you do that, there's not going to be a second trade paperback. That's just not how crowdfunding works.
Yeah. So if this is something that you are interested in, if this is a book that has kind of sparked your desire for good storytelling and to get a really good action-packed, dramatic, like Western back into your life, if that's something that has piqued your interest, please go back now, because without people's support, Brian can't keep doing this. And we want a lot more Six Gun Gorilla. We want all these other ideas floating around in Brian's head, because obviously it's crowded in there. He's got a lot of stories to tell.
And I have a lot of Six Gun Gorilla stories to tell.
Oh, that's so good to hear. So if you are interested, oh my gosh.
I'm hoping to make that's another thing. This is the Six Gun Gorilla action figure prototype.
Oh my gosh, I love him. He's so good.
I'm hoping that he always gets a lot of love and attention at the convention, so I put him on my table. I'm hoping to have some bonus tiers. I'm hoping to have some merch. I definitely want to see if I can at least get like a little sculpture out there, that people could, because people have been talking about that. Actually, this is a curious little thing. Sorry if we're going over time, but Reaper Minis actually made this.
Oh my gosh! Holy shit, that is so cool.
And they just changed the name, right? And this is my version. This is unquestionably like my Six Gun Gorilla.
Absolutely.
They're getting sued. No, I love this thing. And
that is so cool.
Yeah. And hail them, Right. But I would love to put out something that's like this, that that people could paint on their own, because it takes me forever to paint minis because I'm like a perfectionist, especially after watching all those damn YouTube tutorials.
I take forever. I always do 1 or 2 really cool details, and then I'm like, I can't finish it because I'll ruin it. It was like I painted a really cool standard with the moon from Soul Eater, I think it was. But I have like the bloody moon from one of the animes with this like evil grin and everything for my bad moons for the trolls, and I painted it and it was perfect. And then I looked at the rest of it and went, I don't want to paint it because I want to mess it up. It's like the standard is so perfect. Like I'm just gonna put it away and I'll do it later, and I never do it later.
See, I always go like, okay, that's fine. Mistake. Oh, I gotta paint over the mistake. Mistake. Paint over the mistake. Mistake. And I'll just keep doing that, and it'll take me like a month.
Yeah, no, I totally feel your pain. So that is super cool. I actually have some stuff to talk to you about offline for some people that that definitely you should probably get in touch with if those are some of the things that you're looking at doing.
Yes. Oh yes. Because people want stuff.
I got connections, man.
Oh yeah, I look forward to it. And also, people, back Captain Love, Captain Love, Captain Love, 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 Love.
Absolutely. So go check out Drew's awesome Captain Love book. Definitely go check out Preston and his amazing Doc Salem.
And Simon. I'm sorry to interrupt. Simon Poitier. He has Blood Hunt. Go check that out. I think it's still in demand.
Yep, that one's coming out.
Sorry for stepping on you.
No, you're fine. And so make sure that you go check out all of those. Definitely go back Six Gun Gorilla. The reason that we are here, go and back that for sure. And as always, we appreciate everyone who likes, shares, and subscribes to Red Valkyrie. Thank you so much. You guys make this so much fun for me. Thank you to the chat. Thank you, Brian. I loved having you on.
Thank you.
It was so much fun. We are definitely doing this again, obviously.
This was kick-ass. This is kick-ass.
I'm glad to hear. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much. Bye.
Peace, love, and soul.